for me, the bottom line, and I learned this through Accelerate and working with you guys and listening to the podcast. For me, the bottom line is the bottom line,
Yep.
right? It's
the most
everybody
important
knows,
number.
everybody knows that within my company. I talk to them about the profit, and I literally have that behind my desk in my office. The bottom line is the bottom line, right?
Yep.
We all know that we have structured the business, the pricing and everything, and we monitor that. It's 20% the goal minimum.
Yeah.
Net at the end of the year, and it was 20% at the end of the year.
This is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast, brought to you by G4 Marketing. Interviews with today's top home improvement entrepreneurs about marketing, sales, money, mindset, and lifestyle. Now, here's your host, Brian Kaskavalcian.
That I showed up to the Accelerate event in 2019, and I was in awe. I saw guys like Brian Elias, Charlie Ganda, smart, wealthy people, and I was inspired, and you showed a lot of stuff there. But after I left there, I went, I showed you how I implemented all that stuff. But it was the continuing education, the podcast after. You talked about a lot of the subjects. How are you up to 160 episodes now? I mean, every single one of them, you hit every single one over and over and over again. It's just allowed it to, because sometimes, we could be a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
Right? You got to hear it more.
All of us, me too, me included.
Before you go, you know what? Yeah, that finally makes sense. And now I'm going to implement that thing. But yeah, you give it away for free, right?
Yeah.
You happen to provide a service.
That's and that's the nature of the beast. So we're going to do something weird here, John. We're going to let people in on our conversation. Hey, everybody. Brian Kaskavalcian here. This is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast, and I am here chatting with my friend and client, John Kolbaska. He's back again, and we are chatting about the podcast, and we're about a month out or so from the last Accelerate. Of course, John was there. And so I invited him to come back because, man, what you have done in the last 2 or 3 years has just been so flippin' impressive. Do you remember when we did the last episode? I should have looked it up, but I don't remember. It was last year or the year before?
Yeah, it was last year. It was about a year ago. Yeah. And I think it was episode 117.
117. Okay, so go back and listen to that episode, people, because a lot. This guy has done so much in 3 years that it's like mind blowing. What's like the biggest thing, the biggest hurdle you had to overcome to get so much done? Because we talk so much about implementation. It's like knowing is one thing, but doing is a whole nother animal, right? How did you do so much?
Well, I think the biggest hurdle is always yourself, right? It was just making the decision to do all of the things that needed to be done. This is my second company, right? So I've already learned from the previous experience what not to do. I kissed a lot of frogs. So yeah, like I said, I mean, when I attended the first Accelerate event in 2019, I was doing $800,000 a year. It was my second company. I mean, I was charging, I don't know, $500, $600, $700 for a window. I mean, if there was a net profit, it was probably 5% after paying myself. The previous company, I mean, I was doing close to 10,000 installs a year as an installation partner for a flooring retailer, and there was nothing left over. So I was doing so many installs, and I was broke, right? And luckily, I was able to sell that company. And you think like after the first time around, I would have learned, right? And I set up this company and I started, and I was doing all the same things wrong again. And I actually realized going to Accelerate, hearing you talk about, profits and how to set up your company and customer experience. And like I said, I was sitting there, my mouth was wide open. I was in awe, and I said, I just make the decision to go do this. And within 30 days, I went back, I immediately raised my prices. contacted John Anglis, put together a selling system, created a customer experience, everything that you taught. I mean, it's all here in my book. I mean, I showed the scans, maybe you can share it with them in the podcast, but or in the notes. But I mean, everything that you taught, I went in, I wrote notes, and within 30 days, I had it all implemented. And then, like I said, the business just kept growing after that.
Yeah. Do you mind? So you just said 800,000 was where you were, but you weren't really making any money. Do you want to share a little bit about where you are now? You don't have to get too specific if you don't want to, but.
Yeah, no problem. I'm an open book when it comes to numbers. So like I said, 800,000 total gross sales in 2018. I attended the 2019 Accelerate event in February. 2019, I did 1.2. 2020, I did 1.6. And at that point, I hired my first salesperson. I had figured out how to do it, and then I started to teach and train it. And then last year, 2021, I did, and I spoke to you about this in the podcast last year, $5 million in total revenue. And I said to you in March, early last year, so I'm going to do $5 million. Now that's a big jump to go from 1.6 to 5. And I spoke about a little bit about this at Accelerate on the production side. But again, what I did last year, at the beginning of last year, 2021, was I actually, for the first time, I put a plan in place. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to go from 1.6 to 5, how am I going to do that? So I broke it down. It's okay. I'm going to need this many raw leads. From these many raw leads, I'm going to need to convert these many into issued leads. I'm going to sell this amount. I was conservative, and I'm going to need to be able to sell this amount, produce, install this amount. And I had it all completely laid out. And I adjusted those numbers through the month. And then I set my revenue targets, and I was hitting them. And it was funny because when I shared this with you, I emailed you. December 29th, which was my last day of business last year.
I remember this.
4 million. I was at 4,930, say $40,000. I was about $60,000 short of 5 million. Now, and again, we were very intentional throughout the year. I told everybody in my business, 5 million is the goal. Everybody was aware of it. So we closed up business that day for the New Year's holiday. We're like, all right, well, looks like we're short. And that was I believe that was Wednesday or Thursday, the 29th. And then the 30th, we use an app called GroupMe where our sales staff, we communicate along, because I'm still the acting sales manager. And the 30th, my top sales rep sends over the message with the fire symbol from Leap. Sold job, $76,000. And it was the largest sale of the year.
Yep.
The largest
At the
sale
last
of the year,
minute.
the last sale of the year, and it pushed us over $5,009,000. So
Awesome.
we actually did it. So it was pretty cool to see that. Like when you plan that way, you break it down, and then to see it actually happen, it was just incredible.
Okay, so let's talk about that for just a minute, because there's a couple of things in there that are really important. One is a warning. And this is actually how, for those of you that weren't at Accelerate, I started Accelerate this year with a story, and it was a cautionary tale. It was a warning. I was talking about a client that did, oh God, what was it? $4 or $5 million last year. And then their goal this year was 10 million. And I had a whole conversation with them, and they were not ready. They were not set up. And so, but when you told me about it, I remember when you told me we're going to do 5 million, you had a plan in place. You had the foundation in place. You had your pricing right. You had the people in place. You had your processes. It wasn't perfect, but you had a plan in place, because most people, you can't grow 3 times. I mean, it's crazy. Companies are trying to do it now because, this environment is ridiculous. It's crazy, but they're not making any money. If you're going to do it to make money. Now, don't share the profit number, but it's significant. We're not talking about even 10% profit. We're talking about
Brian, I'll share it.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
For me, the bottom line, and I learned this through Accelerate and working with you guys and listening to the podcast. For me, the bottom line is the bottom line,
Yep.
right? It's
The most
everybody
important
knows.
number.
Everybody knows that within my company. I talk to them about the profit, and I literally have that behind my desk in my office. The bottom line is the bottom line, right?
Yep.
We all know that we have structured the business, the pricing and everything, and we monitor that. It's 20% the goal minimum.
Yeah.
Net at the end of the year, and it was 20% at the
Yep.
end of the year. This year we're trending up closer to probably 23, 24% because I've done some things, eliminated some expenses, raised some prices.
Yep.
Every expense that's come along, I've passed that along to the customer. We're real deliberate about that. So we track that all the time.
And by the way, to everybody that's listening, 20% in this industry, it wasn't, nobody talked about it, or nobody, I shouldn't say nobody talked about it. I think people were like, it was so much about the top line for years and years and years, so much about the top line. And I know here and in the other stuff that we've done, to me, it's all about the bottom line. And I tell people all the time, your ideal is 15 to 20%. I have many, many clients, including this one, that's at that 20% mark. You've got to be there. You've earned it. This is the hardest flipping business there is. Windows, roofing, siding, kitchen remodeling, any form of home remodeling. It's the toughest business out there. There's so many moving parts. And if you deliver for your customer, you deserve to make 15, 20% profit on what you install.
Like I said, the bottom line is
the bottom line.
We all the time. I went from when I met you in 2019 from doing $800,000 in gross sales with a 0 or 5% net. I was probably paying myself $60,000 a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, along with the 20% net, okay, that does not include my owner's salary. And I'll tell you, I don't care because I got nothing to hide because I report it all. Right. $5,000 a week, I pay myself an owner's salary. Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And the profit is after that.
So yeah. So it's 20% net after I pay myself $260,000 a year.
Yep.
I give that,
and by the way,
to my wife, and it pays all the bills and funds all the vacations, does all of that stuff, and all of that 20% is left over in the company.
And by the way, if we go look at your reviews, are they like 2-star reviews? Because oh my God, he's gouging us. He's so expensive.
No, I believe I have over 225-star reviews in my New York location. And I believe we have all 5-star rating on Google, over 220 in New York. And I think close to 30 in New Jersey. We just opened a New Jersey location a couple of months ago.
Yes.
So within a year or two, that'll be up in the 200 range too.
So the customers aren't angry that you're charging them more than everybody else?
They don't even know. I mean, look, if we're gonna provide a premium service, they're gonna pay a premium price. It's just realizing that 30% of the market is willing to pay for that. They see that value. The other 70%, it's okay. Let
somebody else have them.
Yeah, let my competitors can have them. It's just stay right there in that 30% mark, in that market right there at 30%, and that's just where I want to place myself, and that's perfect. I mean, look, we do a lot of really good things for the customer, and I'll share this because
I know you do.
I want the people on the podcast. Maybe they can get some ideas. But I mean, we do a lot of the stuff that they do talk about, like the automated emails that send out prior to. We do the sell throughout the ordering process. Our CRM automatically updates the customer where the order is in the status. They get 7 or 8 emails when the products are getting shipped to us. They get an email when we receive it, physically check it into our warehouse. They get an email and then a call within 24 hours. They usually get set up. They get set up on the installation calendar. The morning of, our installers show up to the project, every single project. The morning, even if we have an afternoon start, sometimes we have 2 projects. We'll do 2 small projects in a day. They show up with coffee and bagels at the customer's door. So the first interaction, customer answers the door and says, "Hey, how you doing, Mr. and Mrs. Customer? I'm John from the Men with Tools. Listen, we just stopped and got breakfast. We were at the deli. Really awesome bagels here. We enjoyed them so much. We just figured we'd get you some. Here you go. Thank you."
Nice.
And then we go through the whole process. And this is part of our 68-point installation checklist on the windows. And then we introduce ourselves. We review the project. We use like software programs like Company Cam, so we can do everything right on the phone, show them everything. Go through the process. We clean up. We leave the project cleaner than when we got there. And then even after that, we collect payment. 2 weeks after the project's completed, my CRM automatically emails the customer and says, hey, it's James, who's my production manager from Men with Tools. Give me a call. Here's my cell phone. I like to check on every single one of our projects just to make sure everything came out all right. So customer calls and we do a final walkthrough inspection. So about 70% of our customers take us up on that. And this is kind of where we do the hybrid 1 to 5 program.
Yeah.
He goes there, he checks all the windows, he checks the doors. You've provided us with the authentic feedback app on the phone, and he'll go through the process, check everything, make sure everything's good. If something's not right, he'll schedule a service right there. He'll order a part, schedule it right there. But most of the time, 97% of the time, everything's right. He asks for a review. He asks for a 100% satisfied sign, gets all of that stuff, and then we move on. And then we go into the, obviously we have the 1 to 5 program where you guys are providing the gift box and the digital newsletter, the print newsletter. We're doing all of that stuff. And then 1 year later, we're still not finished. Our CRM sends out another email that says, it's your birthday. And like, what? It's a 1-year anniversary. And we offer to go back out there again and re-inspect it. And we generate a lot of repeat business that way. And we get a lot of 5-star reviews because of it. Our customers genuinely love us. Are we perfect? No, but we try. We're always trying to improve that process. We like I said, we're doing pretty well because of it.
Let's pause here for a quick break. In today's world, getting a 5-star review on Google from every single one of your customers is critical. This is something that G4 Marketing Group helps hundreds of home improvement and home services companies with every day. So we put together a free 5-star customer experience checklist to help you ensure every one of your customers are getting an experience that will turn them into raving fans. You can get your copy of the customer experience checklist today. Just go to g4marketing.com/CEX. The checklist will walk you through 30 points in your customer journey that you can improve today. That way, you'll be able to turn today's customers into tomorrow's leads, sales, and profits. Just go to g4marketing.com/CEX. That's GFOUR marketing.com/CEX to get your copy of the checklist today. Then, when you're ready to automate your relationship marketing so that your customers grow your business for you, just give G4 Marketing a call at 305-856-8788, and we'll give you a free demo to show you how your future business profits are hiding in today's customers. Now let's get back to the episode. Well, and the thing too is, we talked about this at Accelerate too, is I hate to say it this way, but winter is coming and we just don't know when. We don't know what it's going to look like, but while things are good, we got to be ready. In fact, I just did a podcast on it. It was released, I think, a couple days ago when you and I are recording this. And it was just all about that. We got to be prepared. And what company is going to, which company is going to be left standing when leads start to contract a little bit, when leads start to get a little more expensive? Who's going to be there? It's going to be John, the Men with Tools, because he's got cash in the bank. He's got a business model that is designed to take care of the customer, and it's designed to throw off healthy cash flow. And so if your lead cost goes up, it goes up, right?
I'm deliberately putting money aside. For the winter. Because my plan is I want to recruit some really good people, because good people are they get let go from companies. People lose their jobs. It's an opportunity to get some really good employees to come work with you, so that when you come out on the back end, you're even larger. Again, I'm sure sales will contract whenever that comes, a little bit, but we'll be here because of the relationships we've built with customers. Absolutely.
And Anglis and I were talking, and he reminded me of the idea that you wealthy, what was it? Wealthy people or rich people get really rich during downturns. Because when there's a downturn, just like all of what you just explained, when you're sitting on cash, you get to now pick up good talent. You get to pick up other businesses cheap if you wanted to. You can get other people's phone numbers and databases, and because people are going to go out of business.
It's mindset.
It's mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Right.
Yeah.
You can look at it as, oh, the sky is falling, or this is an opportunity. This is temporary.
Right.
This is an opportunity. The summer is coming.
Right.
The sun will shine again. We just have to get through this, and we can come out of the back end stronger. It's mindset. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of mindset, so you went from, I mean, look, it's not like you were destitute, but you were, you made enough to take care of your family and probably a little extra.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're making like real money. Like, how did you prepare yourself for that?
How do you prepare yourself? How do you prepare yourself for the money?
Yeah. It's what
Wow.
it's as you're thinking about, one of the struggles for a lot of us, this was a struggle for me for years, was I had this number in mind. And by the way, the number does not matter.
Yeah,
It could be any number.
Yep.
But the number was 4 times where I was. And until you believe it yourself, until you can say to yourself, yes, I can make that amount of money, it's gonna avoid you. I mean, you just can't make it happen. You can't muscle your way there. And even if you did, even if you got a little, you wouldn't be able to hold on to it because you just can't believe it. And if you don't believe it yourself, it's not going to stay. And so you had to do some things because you've also more than quadrupled your income from before.
Yeah.
And you're comfortable with it. And you did it fast, by the way. I mean, it took me a while to kind of figure it out. And I had to do a lot. I mean, I did a lot of like head work. And anyway, so what do you think? I mean, how did you?
I just made the decision, Brian. I mean, look, I mean, I paid off some debt. I've never been irresponsible when it comes to money. I've always been able to budget properly. It's probably what most people in this business, in this industry, have a problem with, right?
Yeah.
They spend it before they get it. So I've always been a bit of a saver. So I've always had some money put aside. I've had some debt. Your typical stuff, your house and your cars and stuff. This past year, I mean, I sold my old house. I had a mortgage on that. I bought a house twice the size, and I mean, I don't have a mortgage.
Nice.
I paid off my car. I have no debt.
Nice.
I have no debt. I put a bunch more money into retirement, into investment accounts. I mean, my wife, she's a nurse. She's an RN. She was working full time, and she's gone part time. We basically only keep her working there because of the medical benefits, but we're literally talking now about, hey, you know what? Let's just get you to come to the business and draw a salary, and let's just pay for those medical benefits. So yeah, it's allowed me the flexibility, the freedom. I mean, I'm putting money aside for my retirement. I'm paid off all the debt. It feels good. I bought a house in PA, I bought a boat, and I mean, nothing crazy, but stuff to enjoy, vacations. Life is
well, and look.
Good.
And that is an issue. What you just said too is an issue with a lot of people is they'll get a run for a couple of years and the fundamentals won't be right. But but in spite of themselves, they'll have money in the checkbook. And they will think that, oh, well, now I've got money and I can go buy a boat and I can go buy a second house and I can start flying private. And I mean, I've seen all of it, right?
Checkbook accounting.
Yeah. And if you don't have a grasp on your financials like you do, and like you said, you didn't go crazy, right? You didn't go into debt.
No.
You bought what you could afford. And look, it doesn't mean that that's what you're going to be with for the rest of your life. Maybe in 3 years, you're going to get a bigger boat because you're going to make 4 times what you make now. if that's what you want. I'm just saying.
I don't need a bigger boat. I'm actually thinking about getting rid of that damn
Yeah.
thing.
What do they say about boats? The two best days of boat ownership are the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to sell the damn thing. I mean,
Oh, are you really?
I enjoyed it. It's on the lake.
You just got it.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, we used it 5 times last year.
Yeah.
I mean, just the dock, the maintenance. I mean, you're talking about
So
5
you know
grand just for the summer. It's like, you know what? I don't even want it.
You know
I
what
don't
we
use
did?
it.
I don't know if I told you this, but we there's a boat club here in Miami. Well, there's a bunch of them, but we joined a boat club.
You get to use the boat all year round.
Well, here we can use a boat all year round, but it's not mine. It's their boat.
Oh.
All we do is we call them and we say, hey, we want to take a boat out.
And you go.
We go to the marina. The boat's ready. It's fueled up. It's clean. We take it out. We bring it back, dock it, leave, and then they just bill us for the time that we used on the boat.
You pay. So that's exactly my argument with my wife. Well, not my argument, but we've told her, like, the boat cost me 5-6 grand just for the docking and all. They have something similar. It's a Lake Walden-Pawpaw in Pennsylvania. So you'll go out on a pontoon boat. It's a party boat. You go out, you drink, you listen to music, you have some fun, swim, whatever it is. We can rent the boat for $500 for a day. I mean, we went out 5 times last year. It's like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
I bought it. I did the thing. But getting back to the finances, every Friday in my business, I meet with my bookkeeper, and then I talk to my CPA. So I look at my business's finances, and then when I get home at 6 o'clock, I sit down with my wife and we go over our personal finances.
Really?
So, yeah,
wow.
We do. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
We do. So we budget. So we're always looking at what we're doing. So we're real intentional when it comes to the kind of money that we're making, what we're spending, what we're saving. Yeah, we're saving for retirement. I'm 44. The goal is to 50, 55. Yeah.
Well, look, you're 10 years ahead of me, and God bless you. I hope when you're my age that, well, you will be, I mean, there's no question, but you'll be what is it, financially free. It's like you'll put enough money away and have everything retired to where passively the money that comes in, we were just talking about, do you sell your company? When do you sell your company? How much is enough? And if you can conservatively take 3 or 4% of your principal out, how much money do you need to survive? If you need 300 grand a year, you need 10 million in the bank. That's it. You're done. You're financially free for the rest of your days.
I wish I knew what I know now.
Me too.
In my 30s. Yeah, I guess we all say that, but we, like you talked about that Accelerate, like we all have that sense of urgency, right? It's like, I wish I would have done this 10 years ago, and you're trying to make that thing happen now. So,
well, and we were talking about, the podcast, the Accelerate. Where does all that stuff come from? It comes from enormous pain, right? My pain of going through this and working so hard for so long and getting it wrong and having to start all over again and redo it all over again. And if I can help a few people by just sharing some ideas and some people like you and give them some encouragement, hopefully we can prevent some people from making those same mistakes that
you helped me, Brian. Right?
Well, listen,
helped me, your podcast guest, the guests that Accelerate.
Yeah,
they allowed me to look at them and see an example of what was possible. Right?
Yeah,
because when I was sitting there, like I said, in 2019 at 800,000, barely scraping by.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if I was going to continue being in business or just going to work for somebody and drawing a decent, comfortable salary. It gave me the confidence. It gave me the inspiration. It allowed me to see what was possible, and I've done it.
Yeah,
I'm doing it. So,
you're doing it. Yeah, and you will continue to do it.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. Well, to everybody that's listening, you got a little. You got into our conversation at the beginning. We did intend to do a podcast episode, but as we started talking, I just flipped on the recording just because what John was saying was so good. So I think I'm going to stop it there. John, you and I have a few things to chat about. But
we did this the first time too. We started talking and you're like, I got to turn it on.
Oh, is that what happened the first time too?
Last year.
Yeah, it's fun talking with you.
Yeah.
Well, before I turn it off, Addie told me this morning, she goes, on one of your podcasts, you said, if I got to stop right here and you guys, you should go back and listen to this again. And then she said, but you didn't stop. You went again and you started talking some more. So I was just going to do that again. I'll stop. You and I will do this again in a few months. We'll come back. We'll see how your progress is doing in a few months. And thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you for being so transparent and open.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everything, Brian. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. And to everybody listening, hopefully you got some good encouragement out of this and some good advice. This is Brian Kaskavalcian with G4 Marketing Group, and this is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. Let me ask you, did it help you look at your business in a different way? Did it spark an idea or ideas that you hadn't thought of before? Do you have a list of action items that you can take and implement into your business or your life today? I really hope so. If it did, I'd like to ask you a favor. Would you leave a 5-star review of the podcast? By doing so, you'll help other contractors find the podcast more easily so that we can help them achieve more success, wealth, and freedom. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to the Wealthy Contractor Podcast so you get access to the latest episodes as soon as they're available. We're always striving to provide you with great content so you don't want to miss what's coming up. In fact, if you haven't already, make sure you go to thewealthycontractor.com and get your free copy of my latest book, The 7 Secrets to Becoming a Wealthy Contractor. Just pay shipping and handling, and I'll take care of the cost of the book. And finally, a big thanks to G4 Marketing for sponsoring the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. For over 12 years now, G4 Marketing has been the secret back office relationship marketing team for hundreds of home improvement and home service businesses just like yours. You get the customer, and our proven system turns that customer into 5-star reviews and profitable repeat and referral business. If your home improvement or home services company completes at least 10 jobs per month, they have a solution that will work for you. To find out more, sign up for your free, no obligation, 10-minute discovery call at www.gfourmarketing.com/strategy. That's GFOUR marketing.com/strategy. Set your discovery call up today, and they'll help you set your business up for long-term profits and success. So until next time, this is Brian Kaskavalcian.